Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Friday. What do I do on Fridays? I try my best to show you how to prepare a meal, a dish, a dessert, whatever it is that we're doing in the kitchen. It is always going to be better than the restaurant. I have videos from all types of cuisines, whether it's Italian, whether it's seafood, whether it's Asian, whether it's soul food, whatever it is. It's a recipe that's been tried and tested, and it is better than the restaurant. So today I'm making one of my favorites, and I'm sure out of all my videos I have taped this before, but each time you make a recipe or each time you make a meal, sometimes you try things that are different. Sometimes, yes, you want it to taste the same, but every once in a while, you just change it up a little bit. So I want to give you my updated version of French onion soup. I love French onion soup. Can you tell? Look at all these onions. This is about 9 sliced, just regular yellow onions. And they can be regular. You can use any type of onion you would like, because once you caramelize them, they're going to become sweet anyway. So these yellow onions cost me like $1.89 for a bag. So French onion soup does not have to be an expensive soup, although it tastes as though it costs dollars and dollars. With the prices going up on everything, onions are still pretty affordable. So those are our onions. Some of the other ingredients is going to be beef broth. You can use any kind of beef broth. If you don't like salt, you can use a low sodium beef broth, but you need some beef broth. And then to give it a kick of that heaviness flavor, we have some Worcestershire sauce. Now, to give it a taste that is so unique and that bursts in your mouth, but you don't know exactly what it is, I use sherry. So this is cream sherry. You could use dry sherry, or you could even use white wine. Along with that, we have about, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And if I need more, I'll add more, but that's what I'm starting out with. And I have some garlic powder, about a teaspoon. I have some white flour that we're going to use, and the amount of flour that you use is going to be based on how thick you want your broth to be. Some people don't use flour at all because they just want it just to have that just smooth liquid texture. That's fine, but I like for it to have a little bit of body to it, so I use some white flour. Now for our herbs, we have 2 bay leaves to give it that earthy taste. But from my own garden here today, December 7th, my garden is still growing here in Maryland. So yes, we've been under 32 degrees, but let me tell you, these herbs have been herbing. So I have some fresh rosemary and I have some lemon thyme that we are going to use. Also, I have our baguette. So I have this baguette and I'm going to slice it up. And because I'm serving this for tomorrow, I am not going to put it in the soup. So sometimes when you have French onion soup, it has bread in it or it has croutons in it that has been cooked in the crock in the soup. You can do it that way, or you can put the bread on the side. So I'm going to opt to put the bread on the side. And caramelizing the onions, which is the first step of the French onion soup process, we use a bit of butter, and I'm using Land O'Lakes because Land O'Lakes was on sale. Let me tell you, butter's prices have been so high, but this is my mother's favorite, and I always think of her when I use Land O'Lakes butter. So we're going to use some Land O'Lakes butter, and we are going to use some extra virgin olive oil, and that's how we're going to caramelize our onions. And caramelizing onions is different than just cooking onions. It's not the same type of onion that you would have, say, if you're making a gravy and you're only simmering the onions. When we caramelize onions, we are cooking it at a low temperature with the olive oil and with the butter until it caramelizes, meaning that it cooks till it gets a little brown crust on it. And so that takes probably, with all these onions, it's probably going to take about a good 45 minutes to an hour. So it's a low, slow process, but the caramelization makes the onion sweet. And we're going to add a little salt to that, which is going to dry out the water in the onions so that the onions get that crispiness on it that you look for when you are dipping your spoon into some French onion soup. Okay, I think I have all the ingredients. Nope, I don't. I have some provolone cheese. So I'm using provolone cheese. So for French onion soup, you could use Gouda cheese, you could use mozzarella cheese, you could use Swiss cheese. All those cheeses would be appropriate because they melt very well. But today I am choosing to use provolone, and partly because, you know, it comes in a circle already in the same size as the little crock pot. It's not a crock pot. You know what I'm talking about. You get me. Okay, so we have all our ingredients and we are ready to get started. So, are you with me? Are you really with me? Come on, take a deep breath and come in the kitchen with me. Okay, the first thing we are going to do is we're going to put in our stick of butter. And I know this seems like a lot of butter, and I may even use more, depending on how the onions go when they are cooking. Let me bring it a little bit closer. And I'm gonna put in about a 1/4 cup of this olive oil. Okay, so my butter is melting, and what I did was I started a second pot over here because I have so many onions. And I'm just gonna place them in here, and they're going to cook down, and they're gonna end up in one pot. But I thought, let me just spread these out just a little bit. And so of course my hands are gonna smell like onions since I don't have any gloves on. And the trick to that, take some lemon and cut a lemon in half and just rub my hands in the lemon, and that's gonna take away the onion smell. I use the lemon to take away the scent from my hands and fingernails. Okay, so I have these two going. And even though they just started going, I have a mixture of some salt and pepper that I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle on there. And we're just gonna let this cook down. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes, and I wanna give you a view of what the onions look like. So as you can see, they are cooking down very nicely. This one over here is caramelizing a little bit faster because there's less onions. But you can see how it's starting to brown. That's what we want. And again, we have the heat on low. So it's low and slow. Okay, so I'm gonna add some brown sugar. Again, this is 30 minutes in. Put that one. And put this one. So this is after about an hour. We're gonna go ahead and add the onions from the other pan, and you can see how everything is just cooked down. Mix these together. And I'm gonna add the garlic powder. Now we're gonna add the sherry. And that's about 1/3 cup. We're gonna let that cook out. And this is a good color that we like. It's like a caramel. We could have cooked it a little bit longer if we wanted to have it darker. But however the color is, when you caramelize your onions, that's gonna be the color of your French onion soup. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add my flour. Now it's about 2 tablespoons. And immediately this thickens up, but we wanna let it cook out. Oh, it smells delicious and it's nice and thick because we have not added the liquids yet. Okay, we're gonna add our beef broth. And to this, I'm gonna add my 2 bay leaves and some rosemary and some lemon thyme. We still have it on low. And I'm going to taste it in about 15 minutes to taste the broth, to see if it needs anything. Let's give it a few dashes of some Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to taste it to see if we need any adjustments. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, now I'm preparing my baguettes, and what I've done is I have some compound butter that I made. So I made this back in July. So this is with herbs from my garden. So it contains lemon thyme, rosemary, sage, parsley, oh, and chives. So all those I grew in my garden in July. And so I put them together kind of like this, and I put them in my freezer. So that was in July. It's December. I'm still using it. And this is, I have one more left. So I wish I would have made more. So I've taken all my baguettes and I've put this butter on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to toast them. Again, instead of putting them to bake with the French onion soup, I'm going to serve them alongside the French onion soup. Okay, our soup has been simmering for about another 30 minutes. So I think I started this at about 6 p.m. It is now 8 p.m. So it definitely is time consuming. So I have my little crocks here. Now all I'm gonna do is, okay, we're gonna fill these up to the top. Can you see that? Good. Okay, so I'm going to place the 4 of these on here because we're going to put it under the broiler for the cheese to cook. Do that just like that, if you can see that. And then I'm going to get my cheese, and I'm going to make it thick. So I'm going to put 2 slices, just like that. But I'm going to separate them before I put them down. And it's going to melt in because it's already hot. We have to remember that the soup is already finished. So this is just extra. So we really are not cooking it, but I'm going to put it under the broiler just to help melt the cheese. And it looks like this. Okay, so while that is broiling, we have our baguettes. And again, I use my compound butter and just put those on the stove for a little while. These will be good. They'll keep up. They won't get soggy before tomorrow. And what I'm doing here is I'm preparing my parsley, which I just cut from my garden. And we're going to use this to garnish our soup when it is done. All right, here's our finished product. And it looks so good. And we're just going to top it with some fresh parsley. There you go. It was time consuming, but it was simple. So thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Again, I am Beverly Lucas, and you have been watching For the Love of Cooking Fridays. It is a time where I show you how to make something that is always better than the restaurant, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube video, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and go ahead and share, and take the time to look at other videos that I have made over the years that I'm sure that you will enjoy. And you can always send me a note, and I will definitely share it. This is me, and I am signing off. Bye-bye.